So, if you were elected,
Yeah.
let's say you get in right now, what's one of the first things you would do?
I would unblock our resources. So we have the most resources of any country in the world per capita, bar none. We need to have, to make it happen, though, we need to have the fastest permits anywhere in the world and the lowest taxes on producing those resources. We're the fourth in oil, the number one in uranium, number one in potash for fertilizer. We are the fifth biggest supplier of natural gas. We have the longest oceanic coastline. Like we have 12 of NATO's, we have 10 of 12 of NATO's defined defense minerals. So, you had that guy, Palmer Luckey, on. Mm-hmm. I don't think he can make his stuff without Canadian minerals. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'll correct me. But like night vision technology, you need to have germanium for that. You need to have gallium to make semiconductors and radar. You need to have aluminum for armored vehicles and airplanes. You need cobalt for heat-resistant alloys and fighter jets. You need tungsten for armor-piercing ammunition. We have it all. And what I want to do is unblock those resources, produce them in abundance for ourselves and our allies, make $200,000 paychecks for our trades workers, build up an enormous strategic stockpile of it so that we have tons of leverage in international relations. And if, God forbid, there is ever a global conflict, we would have all the resources necessary to win it. So, but we need to get rid of a lot of laws that are blocking and replace them with laws that have fast permitting so that we can produce this stuff on scale very quickly. So
is the concern the environmental impact of extracting these things? Is that what's holding it up?
That's the ostensible reason. But I just think across the Western world, like Europe, UK, parts of the US, and Canada, there's a problem with bureaucracy just growing way too damn big. Like, the First Nations in our country are incredibly forward-looking. The Squamish built 6,000 units of housing on 10 acres of land. You can believe it. In a city of Vancouver where it's very hard to get a permit to do anything because it was their land, so they did it. They're building now an LNG liquefaction plant where they replaced an old dirty mill. So they cleaned it up and put an LNG plant there. But the federal government took a lot of time, 14 years, to give them a permit. So we need to think like they're thinking, which is entrepreneurial, speed of business, get it done quickly. That's how you develop. Like we have this community in my district. It's called Hardisty, 600 people. They manage $100 billion of oil in a town of 600 people. Why is it there? Because their municipality offers a permit in 1 week with 1 page. And I wanted to tell this story, so I called them and I said, can I have someone come and do a video with me? And they said, we don't have anyone here. We don't have like bureaucrats that can help you. They're all out on their farms right now. They come in, they stamp the permit, and they go back to their farm. Well, that's why we have $100 billion of energy moving through the area, which is bigger than the GDP of many countries, because they have fast permits. And that's what we need in Canada. We need to be the fastest place to get things done.
But don't you think you need some safeguards to protect the environment? And how do you balance that out?
Protect it quickly. We can figure out whether a project is damaging to the environment in weeks and months rather than decades. Like there's nothing you're going to learn in year 14 of the review that you couldn't have learned in month 14. So there's ways to protect the environment. When the Germans had to break their dependence on Russia after it invaded Ukraine, they approved an LNG import terminal in 60 days. They completed the whole damn thing in less than 200 days. And guess what? No environmental problems. They got their engineers to sit down and figure out how to do it quickly. And that's the mentality that we need to get in Canada.
So what would you be able to do to bypass all this bureaucracy? How could that be done legally?
Well, you slim it down to one project, one environmental review instead of 20 or 30. You have a fixed timeline that the bureaucrats have to give an answer of 6 months rather than just as long as they want to drag it on for. And the other thing I would do is study areas where they're perfectly situated to have a project like a pipeline or a mine or an LNG export terminal or a port expansion, and I would pre-permit it. I would say to our officials, go in and study, make sure that the environmental aspects are all in good order. I'll issue a pre-permit, and then anybody who comes along and wants to build it, as long as they follow the terms and act responsibly, has a guaranteed permit before they even apply for it. That I think we would have a roaring economy if we did that.
That sounds awesome, but
Yeah.
the great fear is that if you do have an impact on the environment, that impact is often permanent, and that it's devastating. And I've seen some of the oil extraction that they've done up in Alberta, where you look at the area, it looks like scorched earth.
No.
No,
It's
no?
the most responsible oil extraction in the world.
But when you see these, what is that one area that often gets criticized?
Fort Mac.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they're open pit mines. You open up
Right,
a
that's
mine,
it.
you take out the bitumen, you separate the sand from the oil. You make it less viscous by putting diluent in it, and you ship it off. And then after the mining is done, they resurface it, and you wouldn't even know there was a mine there.
And there's no impact to groundwater, no impact to the environment.
I mean, there's an impact no matter what you do, but at the end of the day, the people who live there are very healthy and very happy, and they're the strongest supporters of the expansion of the oil sands. It's an incredible.
Because economically, it's
it's
amazing for
incredible.
them.
It's the best resource in the world. So it's like there's no decline rate. You guys have shale here, but as the years go by, you get less and less out of a shale reservoir. We have very little decline. We can keep producing and producing. We have what's called in situ, where there's an entire oil sands operation under your feet. You could be out in a forest hunting, and you wouldn't even know that under your feet they're extracting it through a whole system of pipes where they inject just steam vapor that loosens up the oil. It sinks down, it goes into another pipe, comes up to the top, and you can have beautiful, pristine nature. The bears, the deer, the birds, they don't even know that there's extraction happening under their feet. So we have the best industry, the most responsible industry anywhere in the world. It's been a really disgusting PR campaign by extremist environmentalists and, frankly, some of our competitors to try and make our industry look bad. But it's the best industry in the world.
Yeah, they got me.
Yeah,
I saw some videos on it, and I was like, oh my God, what are they doing to the ground? What are they doing to the earth? It looks horrible.
It's all bullshit. We have the.
It looks horrible.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just a superficial look at it. I'll take you for a tour in the oil sands. You'll be amazed. We have the best engineers in the world. And by the way, the First Nations people absolutely love it because it's lifting their people out of poverty. They're getting enormous job opportunities out of it. One of our MPs is a former chief, where they took 18% unemployment, brought it down to 3%, balanced their budget. Another one of my members of parliament in northern British Columbia negotiated a $40 billion LNG plant on the Haisla territory. It's completely eliminating poverty for the First Nations there. And by exporting clean Canadian natural gas, which we can liquefy 25% cheaper because it's cold as hell in Canada, they actually displace dirty coal overseas. So instead of Asia burning coal, they're burning clean Canadian gas that's delivered by First Nations partnership. So this is the best way to do it. Makes everybody richer and makes our entire continent better off.
Well, it seems so simple the way you're laying it out. I don't understand why this hasn't been implemented.
Yeah, this is the story of my life. It's frustrating.
Is it that? But is it that simple? Is it really that this is what's holding everything up? The bureaucracy and the time it takes for permits and
Yeah, like a lot of things. So
regulations.
We have the same thing in housing, and so do you. Like if you look at
California certainly
California
does.
is terrible. Like why is there such a housing shortage in California? It's because it takes forever to get a permit, and there's always bureaucracy standing in the way, and it totally screws over the working class youth who can't find a place to live because they're not being built. And we have that challenge in Canada as well. And so that's why I proposed ideas to cut the bureaucracy and the taxes so that we can build affordable homes for our youth, because right now we have a whole generation that can't afford homes. And that was one of the biggest issues I ran on. Home ownership is necessary for family formation, for civil peace in society where, everybody feels like they have a piece of the pie. We need to expand home ownership. But to do that, you've got to get the government gatekeepers out of the way, speed up the permits, free up the land, cut the development taxes.